Alrighty, y'all. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. Pretty much just want to jump right into this. The title says everything. This is a series I'm going to start doing every Sunday, where I, as a person who is not a person of faith, I'm going to read the Bible and give my interpretations, my thoughts, my agreements, my disagreements, just my all around, any opinions that I have, anything and everything that can be covered while reading the Bible. And I want to do it for a very specific reason. Actually, a couple specific reasons. Number one is because my sister on her wedding day many years ago gave me this gorgeous Bible. Um, my name on it, everything. It is the New International Version. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, New International Version. And I haven't given the simple respect of at least reading it. It may seem, whether that's simple, especially when it comes to religion, that's up for everybody else to decide. But to me, it's simple. I can at least read, um, understand the side that I don't agree with. I feel like that's the only way that you can truly call yourself educated or you can truly support your opinions is you have to understand what it is from the other side, or at least do your best to understand, which I know can be tough. Um, but one thing that really kind of sparked this was just a lot of videos seeing people saying, getting in disagreements, having conversations, and somebody says the words, I'll pray for you. And it's immediately met with mockery and with, insults and all these different things that I feel is just honestly gross. Whether you're a person of faith or not, when someone says the words, I'll pray for you, that is not taken lightly from their side. I understand sometimes it is meant as an insult. It is, you're just, oh, you're so wrong. I'll pray for you. Or you're so full of sin because I don't agree with what you're doing. Things like that. I understand that. However, when someone is truly from their heart saying, I'm going to pray for you, I'm going to pray for your anything positive for you, that's not taken lightly from their side. And to hear it so degraded and insulted when it truly is meant on the part of love or it's meant from love, I find it insulting. And I think that by doing something like this, maybe eventually talking to people who are of faith, finding where we agree, um, you know, don't need to focus on the things we don't agree with. I really want to focus on the things that we can agree on. Um, a lot of love and taking care of each other and things of that nature. But yeah, I want to make it very clear over and over again that my intention is not to insult anybody. My intention is not to argue or fight with anybody. I am not here on my journey to convert, nor am I here on my journey to find reasons not to. I'm here quite honestly out of respect for my sister and my brother-in-law. Um, Again, my sister got me this gorgeous Bible, and I've barely flipped the first couple of pages, so I feel it's only right, and I owe her the effort of understanding. Yeah, so again, this is an interpretation. This is my interpretation, whether you agree or disagree. Um, the awesome thing is we have a comment section. You can tell me. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I do hope to start doing these lives at some point in the future if y'all are interested. That way we can have conversations in the middle of it and then, create a video where we actually have discussion rather than just me giving my interpretation. Um, but yeah, that's the goal of the series. I apologize for anything being chopped up or a little bouncing around. That's just how my brain works. So there'll be quite a bit of editing. Please bear with me until we get through a few of these, and hopefully I start getting better with it. Um, so thank you in advance to anybody who is interested and wants to see more. And I hope to see y'all next Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Alrighty, y'all. So again, from the intro, just expect this to be a little bit cut up, a little bit jumped around. Hopefully, I can kind of get into the swing of this sooner rather than later, but just want to apologize. Of course, the Bible starts off with God creating the heavens and the earth. Right away, we're starting off with one of those subjects, and it's creation versus evolution. I will be fully in admittance. I believe in evolution. I do not as much believe in creation. Now, I say as much, and this is where it might get a little, out there, but I see it almost more, I have an interesting thought of what if we were created to evolve, essentially. My thoughts are, what if so many of the, I don't want to say this. It's what if there is more truth than I give credit in the Bible and the timeline is just a little off? What if, I believe Neil deGrasse Tyson said something, it might have been somebody else. I want to say it was him, and I think he was quoting somebody. I know, big old mess, but it was the difference between religion and science is science only asks for one miracle. And that's an interesting thought to me because the Big Bang, they don't understand the Big Bang. So the Big Bang is essentially a miracle, as to where in the Bible there are stories of multiple miracles. Um, well, if science requires one, why isn't it possible that there are many? Science is amazing. And if science still requires a miracle, then that is the possibility of miracles. So anybody, oh, miracles don't exist. Well, if you have to ask for one, then why is it so hard to believe in many? Um, yeah, okay, I know I'm kind of ranting, but it's I am almost on I have more faith in we were put here for a reason. However, not in our current form. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's we were created to evolve. That's sort of my overall feeling is we were created to evolve. All right, so on the first day, God creates the heavens and the earth and creates light and separates the light from the darkness, creating night and day. On the second day, let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. Now, separating waters to become earth and sky is confusing to me. I really don't know how to interpret that. I've sat and thought about it. I'm just not sure. Essentially, is there's a mass, there's this, there's water, which I'm not sure if the water is essentially space. If water, if you think of something like not purgatory, but kind of like that gap in dimensions. Like they do it in movies and TV shows where it's just never ending space. There's nothing there. My interpretation of what they says there is instead of this vast emptiness, it's this vast water. Since the water of the sky and the water, the water of the sky and the water of the, or since the vault of the sky separated the waters above and below. I'm very curious as to anybody else's thoughts on that because separating the water above from the water underneath, creating the sky. That is confusing to me when you think of emptiness beforehand. However, if there is a God, there's got to be something. So maybe it's not this emptiness, which would make sense with. I'm kind of rambling. I'm kind of lost in my own thoughts. So that's something I don't understand. That's something that I'd actually be interested in looking into deeper or having conversation about. So in the first 3 days, you have heavens and earth created, light and darkness. You got the sky, the vault of the sky to separate the waters from above and beneath. And you have the creation of land and seas with vegetation on the land. So on the fourth day, let there be lights in the vault of the sky, separate day and night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times, mark days and years, and let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth. Two lights were created, the greater light to govern the day, the lesser light to govern the night. And God also made stars because of the way that it's said is, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times. So is that to mark future sacred times? Is it as simple as marking day and night? Um, it caught my interest, so I'm just curious about that. God blessed them, said, be fruitful and increase the number and fill the waters of the seas. Let the birds increase on the earth. So now we're going into life. So the sixth day is let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to their sign or their kind. So now we start getting into the creation of man. And there's actually phrasing in here that I am very, very interested in and very curious about. The first is a probable translation, and it says it right off the bat. So it's a probable reading of the original text. Let us make mankind in our image and our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. Now, the interesting part about that to me is let us make mankind in our image and our likeness. Now, this is God saying that. It would be different if somebody else was saying, then God made mankind in the image of himself. The phrasing is very interesting to me. So God is saying us and our, and then in the Bible it says, so God made in his. And again, that's very curious to me. And what my brain goes to is it possible that on earth we have one God, but that there are multiple gods? What if God did create our earth? And again, my theory is, God or a higher being created the earth in a way to cause evolution. I don't really know even how to word this. This is a little confusing for me, so I apologize. But it's almost as, what if there are multiple gods, but there's only one for our earth and our reality? Again, I'm not a believer. I've not dug into the Bible. I haven't read the Bible in many, since I was a very little kid. So these are just the thoughts that are coming to me. It is confusing to me that God would say us and our, and then the Bible would say in his. I really don't know how to interpret it. I've given you just, could it possibly be? Like, is creation and evolution possible to go hand in hand because we were created to evolve? Those type of ideas. It says, so God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Again, it's interesting to me that it goes from God saying us and our to the Bible saying he created in his own image. He created them, and it repeats it 3 times. It just, I honestly don't even know. It catches my attention, but I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know what to think about it. Again, just not having a great baseline. I don't know. It's confusing to me that, again, it would be written that way. And so I really, I'd have to think more about it. Maybe next week I'll have a couple other opinions, or maybe next week I'll have a different interpretation. But for right now, it's confusing to me why they would quote God in that way and then write it in that way. I'm very curious. The clouds can't decide if they want to be in front of the sun or not. This is another line that actually caught my attention. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. And the reason that is kind of curious to me is because of the use of subdue and rule. Because it's not live with the land, it's not live on the land, it's not do your best not to do this and that. It is subdue the earth. And one of the quotes is, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. So it is not, it really isn't a live with the earth. It is, you use the earth, you subdue the earth. The earth is here for you. The creatures in the sea, the birds in the sky, the animals along the ground are here for you to rule over. It is not for you to, it's not live with. Um, and I just think that's very interesting. That's everybody wants to, especially with a lot of stuff kind of going on between like the vegan and vegetarians and we can't pollute the earth and doing things like that, which that's a whole nother topic for another day. But I just thought it was interesting that in the Bible, God said, subdue the earth and rule over its creatures. Um, just very interesting to me. And then God rested. And that is the first. I don't want to insult anybody. I don't know if they are chapters of the Bible, if they're stories of the Bible, if they are, what to call them. That's barely past the first page of the first book, which is Genesis. This may end up taking a while. I know that there's a lot to religion, there's a lot to faith. It's not just I read something, so I believe it, which has been another. It seems to be an idea that people have that to me is just frankly insulting. It's I read a book, so I believe it, is what a lot of people say, and that's not what it is. As you see, I'm sitting here going over a page and a paragraph, and I've been able to break it down into these thoughts without even realizing just how much it was kind of taking my focus off. So yeah, the creation of Earth. Again, I'm not as much a believer in creation as it is written in the Bible. I am not against the idea of creation. However, I do believe in evolution, which seems contradictory, but again, everything comes back to what if we were created to evolve? I'd love to have some talks about it either in the comments or eventually find someone that I can have a honest discussion with that is not in the business of converting someone. And I would love to have that conversation as to where we agree or disagree. And yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, that will do it for this week. Again, we're just kicking off, so hopefully we'll get a little smoother, get a little bit more coherent in my ramblings as the weeks and months go on. But I will be here every Sunday reading different books of the Bible. Hopefully, going to live at some point so we can have discussions while I do. Again, this is not here to convert anyone. I'm not here to be dismissive of anybody's faith or anybody's beliefs. I just want to give the respect to my family that they've always shown me and do my best to understand where their beliefs and their faith come from. So, again, I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next week.